live. Ladies and gents, welcome back. We this is a impromptu live stream that we've been impromptu planning for about a month now. So everybody, welcome to this live stream. I'm particularly excited about this, to be speaking to the one and only James Topp here from Canada. He's on his march from Vancouver, British Columbia, all the way to Ottawa, and we're going to be chatting with him here. And well, let's not too much fanfare. Let's just get right into it, because this man is on a mission, and I don't think he has all the time in the world. So let's get right into it. James Topp, welcome to the show, and thanks for joining me. This has been a bit of a tricky one to get the connectivity happening. I know last week we had some connection issues. Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. We're just coming up on a barricade here on the other side of the highway, so our safety car usually travels adjacent to us or goes forward, but we have to be conscious of the traffic. So
tell me about the rig you have there for your Starlink. What is that you've got going on?
Well, it's the crew jury rigged that for the purposes of these interviews, because we got kilometers and kilometers of empty space here. Are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still with you. I can hear you. I see
okay,
that
yeah, stopped because there
briefly.
Well, the thing is you can see these barriers on the other side of the highway. Like, there's not enough room for the safety car to kind of pull over.
Oh, I see.
I have to get him to jockey into position, and when he does that, we'll lose our signal.
I see. Okay, well, hopefully we can keep a good signal here. I'm still seeing you fine, and I'm hearing you okay, so.
Hold up.
Yep.
So get him to pull up over here. Yeah, anyway, yeah, thanks for the intro. We'll get through this part. It's going to be like this. This is the nature of Canada. For those of you who don't, yeah, pull it up over there. Who are not aware of the fact that there's no cell.
Oh, there we have a bit of connectivity issues, but yeah, there is no cellular networks that service this area of Ontario. It's way up in the sticks. It is, yeah. See, we've lost connectivity there. So James will be back in a moment, and as soon as he's back, I'll get things going here again. But hey, everybody, thanks and welcome to the stream here. We're doing everything we can. Yeah, that's right. Elon's Starlink is in this here. So I'm gonna just pop over here in the meantime until James comes back. But yeah, he's running a Starlink in Northern Ontario, so that we can have this this chat here today. And we were planning this last week, so we had scheduled this about a month out. And it was hard to get it going. So we tried last week. The connectivity was terrible. He was on the cellular networks. And yeah, Northern Ontario is what it is, way out in the sticks. So we're just waiting for James to come back in here now. Now, James is on a huge journey, as we can see here. 4,297 kilometers. That's 2,670 miles for those people who still use that old imperial system. But that's how far he has set out to travel. Now, he's over 3/4 along the way on this trip. You have a live tracker here, and you can see these are the Great Lakes. We have Thunder Bay here, Sault Ste. Marie here, and he's just about to Sault Ste. Marie, above, just on the shores of Lake Superior. And amazing that we're able to have a chat with him at all, actually, in the meantime, while we're working on this. Someone, he can hear you seconds ago. Okay, well, sounds like might have to reconnect here. So we're looking for a reconnection. As soon as that happens, again, he was going right past the barricade, so we had to he had to move his vehicle too far away from where he's marching. So that's the thing. Anyone know his ETA to Sault Ste. Marie? I'm not sure what the ETA is, but he's just about there. I think they've been doing roughly 50 kilometers a day. That's been the average. Insane. That's just incredible what's been going on here. But yeah, there's his live tracker. I put a link in the description down below for his website, and that's canadamarches.ca. You can go check out any of... Oh, the 30th is when he's expected to be in Sault Ste. Marie. Really? No, the 30th of June, I believe he's supposed to be in Ottawa. Now, he's going to be marching past Sault Ste. Marie and then into the greater Sudbury area, where there's going to be another individual meeting up with him that I've heard about. I don't know much about him. I know he's an older feller, and he's been doing some training to make sure that he can keep up with James on his mission here. So hopefully we can get a connection back in again here. That would be great. Oh, you work with what you've got. He was showing me the great Canadian ingenuity that he has set up on the top of that sedan, a Starlink, slowly moving, following the satellites, keeping it connected to the internet so he can do these chats. And I'm seeing somebody join in just now. Hopefully we get a connection quickly here. Hey, we're getting a... Oh, might have to enter a new link in here. Let me just get this going. Should be a go.
Yeah, I just
there we go.
entered again. Yeah. Okay. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. It's tough. It's tough, right? You got a connection, and it's well, I can see that there's a barricade there, and you can't have the car next to the barricade, so the car had to go a little far out, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So that's the problem. I'll pass you to James right now.
Perfect.
Because I can hear you, and he can talk. I'll just pass you to him.
Nice. What timing? What timing with that barricade? Just as we jump into this here.
Hey, there.
Hey, James.
We're back.
James, thanks again for joining. Yeah, I see that there was a barricade on the road there, so we had to get past that and before we could get connected to the internet again. So, and I see people on the side of the road honking at you, waving. That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's been going on since we started. This is a slow day, actually. We've only had about 4 or 5 people actually pull over and actually get out, but probably between 5 and 10 folks a day, even out here.
Amazing. And again with the connectivity thing, this is troublesome trying to hold these conversations.
Yeah, I don't know.
There we go. You're right next to it, so we've got a good connection. I got you clear now.
Okay, we'll go slow.
Here we are in the sticks in northern Ontario, and we're connecting to the internet. We're far away from most of civilization at this point, and we're having a chat. James, can you tell the audience, for those who don't know what your mission is here, what it is that you're doing and why it is that you're doing it?
Right. So I'm not sure if everybody's following, but I'll just give you a brief recap of how I got here. I'm a military. I'm in the military. I joined in the early 90s. No, stay there. Stay over there. I joined in the military. Excuse me.
It's okay. I think we can let.
I joined the military in the early 90s, and we'll just hold tight so I can get this out before we lose the connection again.
Yeah, no problem.
Basically, I served in the armed forces all my adult life for about 28 years, from the early 90s till 2019. From 2019, I joined I transferred from the regular Army, full-time Army, to the Reserve Force. So that allowed me to pursue a career, a different career path, which I did. I joined the public service. I got a job with the RCMP as a civilian. So I just want to make that perfectly clear so everybody's on the same wavelength.
Okay.
I joined the RCMP as a civilian. Okay, I was not a member. I was a facility manager at a training facility for the RCMP in Chilliwack, British Columbia. So everything that happened from March of 2020 till now. Okay, let's do a slow walk. We're calling the pandemic all this trauma that was inflicted on society in a variety of different ways. We had all that happen. I did a move. I got out of the regular Army, went into the reserves, got this other job with the RCMP, started this other job in Chilliwack. Great job, working with awesome people. Probably one of the best jobs I ever had. Well, I only had two, really. It was pretty good for somebody like me to work in that place. And what ended up happening is we had the announcement by the federal government of a requirement for employees to submit to this medical procedure or to submit to a testing protocol or whatever, okay? Vaccinations and that kind of thing. And with my issue with that is, as a federal government employee, knowing what we knew back then and what we know now, and at a very instinctual level, I felt that the federal government was not in a position to be able to tell me how to be healthy or what I needed to do to maintain my health. Furthermore, I have a significant issue having to disclose vaccination status to every other person at my workplace. So,
right.
That caused me to, to not comply with these policies, which resulted in me being placed on leave without pay from the RCMP. And in the armed forces, as a reservist, I'm being told that I will be released from the armed forces on what's called an item code 5F. So you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still with you, yeah. Oh, we just lost video. Oh, there, and you're back, I'm not hearing you, but you're back in video. Yeah, just not hearing you. Your video's good. Are you hearing me? Yeah, we're not hearing you. Got no audio from you. Yeah, no, audio's cut out. Audio's cut out completely. And we've lost them again. So, yay. For everyone, thanks for the patience, because this is just how it goes with mobile internet, and especially when you're on the move and unable to keep a steady connection. Elon Musk with his Starlink giving him the connectivity here, but we're limited to what we've got. I see a video signal coming in again, but still no audio. I'm wondering if maybe they poked his headset there by accident and got that turned off. Copy that link again. Try to get this web. Trying to connect again. Here we are. So we have video, but no audio at the moment.
No, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Got you. Okay, you're back. Okay. So you were relieved of your duties at this point because of an intrusive into your medical life and decisions, and you refused to disclose your status to the world and anyone that you worked with.
Basically, right. I mean, I wasn't relieved of my duties. I was placed on leave without pay. So
okay.
What they're saying is that this is for folks that I know of who are in the RCMP who have taken the same stance I have. They've been placed on leave without pay. So you're not terminated. You're on leave. So that means vacation, but you're not being paid.
Yeah, without pay.
I'm still nominally employed, but I get a pay stub every couple of weeks for $0. So I don't know if we were still connected when I started talking about the armed forces and the release. Were we still connected at that point?
No, we had lost you at that point.
Okay, so the armed forces under the Department of National Defense also has the same policy because we're federal government employees.
Okay.
And I'm being told that I will be released under an item code 5F. So, you still with me?
Yes, I'm still with you. So you're going to be released
Okay.
from the Department of Defense.
From the armed forces,
Armed
right?
Forces.
So there's Department of National Defense, and under the Department of National Defense, we have the Canadian Armed Forces, right? So there's
Okay.
also a number of as the Department of National Defense, you have a minister, and then you have the Chief of Defense Staff, and those two things combined. The Canadian Armed Forces falls under the Department of National Defense. If you see how that works.
Okay, I'm understanding now.
Okay. So the Canadian Armed Forces are going to release me. I've been in the Army for 28 years. 5F, I wasn't always a model soldier, especially in my younger days. You know what I mean? Like I had the tendency to mix it up a little bit. But I spent the better part of 20 years, being a good soldier,
Right.
going overseas, doing the business, training the troops. Ultimately, it's to slap in the face to me for them to say, do this, accept this, or we're going to release you on this, for folks who are not familiar with the lingo, I'll explain it. It's a dishonorable discharge for all intents and purposes, okay? So
Okay, I understand.
that's what got me, that all happened in November of last year. And what ended up happening after that is, like, I do get a pension from my armed forces, the time I put in as a full-time member.
Mm-hmm.
It pays my mortgage, but that's it. So I needed to get another job in the private sector, which I ended up doing as I got a job as a tow truck driver, tow truck operator.
Okay.
And it opened my eyes to a number of things. Like, as somebody who has come from the armed forces, I've always been in that cocoon of the military. You're not subject to the same kind of ebb and flow of economic upturn and downturn as folks in the private sector.
Right.
So it was a new experience for me. And, I just started to realize how hard and how much the Canadian public works. And what ended up happening was that, after having both of these, work for the government, been snubbed and been turned away and told I'm not going to get paid because I, refused to comply with this, what I think is an unethical, well, I consider it an ethical, moral, and legal violation
Right.
for all intents and purposes.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that after November, I was really in a bad place psychologically speaking. And then what ended up happening was really floundering. Then we had what happened in January with the truckers protesting and the Freedom Convoy, and knowing what I already knew about how the media has a tendency to distort and misrepresent actual events. Okay, so we kind of I knew that what was happening in Ottawa, as what was being represented by the corporate media, was probably false.
Right.
And then going through other channels, seeing what was actually happening, this was a legal, lawful protest. And that inspired me, okay? It inspired me to do what I'm doing now. I was outraged by the fact that we have a group of Canadians went to protest the same things that I was about, that I had a problem with, and then they were insulted and ignored, and it was an outrage to me. So both of these things. Well, all of this stuff kind of came together, and I realized it was at that point where I was, I felt I had to launch my own protest, and this is what I thought I would do. I've been in the infantry for all my adult life. I know how to do this stuff, right? March and carry a rucksack or a backpack. So I got it into my head. This is what I was going to do. And like I said before, I considered everything that has happened in the armed forces and with everybody else who was involved either in the RCMP, armed forces, or the federal government. I consider it an ethical violation so severe that I put my uniform on and made a very public announcement about how I felt, and also I announced my intention to do this. So you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still with you. And actually, I covered that. I covered the news that Global News and I think it was the Toronto Star actually both came out with stories months later after claiming that you had been charged for violating some ordinances by wearing your uniform and speaking out. Now, rumors spread around the internet immediately overnight that you had been arrested, and yet this was a story that happened months before. What happened there?
Well, it is true that I'm being charged. I'm being charged under the National Defense Act under NDA Code 129, which is the exact verbiage escapes me at the moment. But I am being charged by the military under this code. So there's a legal process that happens within the military. Civilians can be charged under the National Defense Act if the violation is severe enough. However, it's typically reserved for members of the armed forces. So,
so the article read that someone else had been charged with a similar thing, and they got a $500 fine. So it felt like when I was reading it, there was no real story there to be had. That they weren't really going after you with anything substantial. But what was astonishing is they failed to mention through both articles, or through the article, that you happen to be marching 4,000 kilometers to Ottawa. So like the news gave a little bit of press to what was going on in your situation, but they had no mention of what it is that your mission's doing.
Yeah.
Now,
right.
There's a huge groundswell on the internet of support for you, like huge. It's massive. There's so many people that are behind you, following channels like mine, Viva Fry, a number of other channels, just waiting for us to be able to talk to you and have a moment to hear your words. But the media is largely ignoring you. What do you say to that?
Well, I would say it's because they don't want anybody to hear what I have to say.
Good point. Definitely good point.
That's basically it. I mean, I'm a federal government worker who's speaking out against the federal government about what I consider to be a horrendous ethical violation. And they don't want people hearing that because they might get their own ideas. Because it's true.
That's absolutely true. Yeah. So I mean, Gandhi had an expression, and it was, first they ignore you, then they ridicule you, then they fight you, and then you win. And it seems that they're on the and this is what the Freedom Convoy trucker protesters went through. They went through all of those stages as well. And it seems like you're on the ignore stage, but you're growing so much closer to Ottawa by the day. And again, the support is just growing exponentially. How far from Ottawa are you at the moment?
Probably about 950 kilometers.
Okay, so sub 1,000. So you're more than 4 quarters of the journey at this point.
Sorry?
You're more than 4 quarters along your journey at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. 3/4. We're over. We're probably got about 3,300 kilometers on the clock, and so before I get too far into that, I would just like to say this was kind of my brainchild, and after the announcement that I made in uniform, yeah, hang on a sec.
No problem.
So I got to coordinate a couple things here. So after I made that announcement in uniform, I was approached by a whole whack of people wishing to support me, right?
Yes.
So this thing that became Canada Marches, like we're now after 3.5 months, we're an incorporated company, not profit. we learned a lot from speaking to truckers such as Chris Barber and
Hmm.
um, Tamara and other folks, who kind of um, gave us some advice on the way forward with this kind of thing, because this is the birth of something that in January, and it's evolving and it's growing, and we want to see it into adulthood. So where I was going with this was that I think that um, we are at the point where um, we're growing as an organization along with other organizations to counterbalance this kind of imbalance that's going on in our society. So
Hmm.
where we're at now is also where I was going with this is I want to make it clear that I'm not doing this on my own. Okay, I have other people helping me, such as Ben, the guy driving the safety car, and there's Christian. He's the one holding the gimbal with his
Nice.
phone. And then, I got Tom Murphy here and his wife, Jordan, and there's Esther and Dan and Tyler and Dallas and all these other folks who, there's four of us who met on February the 20th. And, we had not known each other before that. And we're still
Right.
together. 3.5 months later, we've managed to keep it together. So it's like that group, and then I got this online crew helping us do this. Like, I never would have been able to pull this off. Like, I don't have the expertise or the knowledge in this kind of technology to be able to pull this kind of stuff off. So, I mean, where we're at with this is that with what's happening in this country, there was a need for this.
Hmm.
And, we're getting support from all kinds of folks. Like you said, there's folks following us online. And there's folks, like stopping on the side of the road and jumping out of their cars and saying hello. And it's really, despite all the suffering that is going on, and the kind of growth pains that that we're experiencing, but this has been an amazing experience, and I'm really lucky to be able to do this and meet all the folks that I've met so far.
Amazing. So you said you got in touch with Chris Barber and a bunch of the others. Do you have any of the lawyers on your crew there to keep an eye on some of the legal stuff for you?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I got a lawyer from once I had released the video. I was contacted by the JCCF, so the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms,
Yes.
and they fixed me up with Philip Millar's Law, and they're the ones representing us at.
You can't get too far from the car.
In two cases for myself. There's a class act. Yeah, there's a class action with a number of folks who are getting that 5F release,
Okay.
and then there's also the fact that Philip is helping me with this military charge, because you are allowed in the armed forces, should you so choose to and pay for, you can have a civilian lawyer in these matters, and he's representing me with the charges under the National Defense Act.
Right. Right. So when you got started on this journey, did you expect to make it to Ottawa with the mandates still in place? Like, because that's a long
Yeah.
trip.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you anticipated them sticking it out and just not and holding, because recently there was a vote in the Parliament to lift all the mandates, and they voted across party lines. It was the NDP Liberal coalition all the way. Nope, we're not lifting any mandates, and the public at large is getting very frustrated with this, and we see the tourism industry now speaking out about it. So you anticipate making it all the way to Ottawa and still having this issue as the forefront?
Yeah, I 100% I do. I don't actually see it being rectified until we have an actual people's how do I put it? Okay, just get him to pull up over there where Logan is.
I see there's a lot of things
So
to take care of all at
I
the same
don't see
time.
it being rectified until we have this kind of population of folks um, who they just went along, they got along. It wasn't a big deal for them. For those of us who had issues with it, we are quote unquote the minority. However, I think that minority is getting larger and larger. But until that minority um, starts to connect cohesively and starts to speak in language that can penetrate the media, the blockade,
Mhm.
okay, and we can represent ourselves and as a cohesive unit, we're going to be able to rectify the situation. Until that happens, I don't think that we're going to get past this. We have the House rising in a couple of weeks, and then there's no way that the business of the government is going to carry on over the summer. So we can look to have to endure this for the next little while. Okay, hold up.
Yep.
Just so okay, we're probably going to get disconnected here. We got a long barrier. So if you want to kind of like go to commercial, quote unquote, then let's do that
Okay, well,
now.
I can talk to the audience. That's no problem. I spend a lot of time with these
Okay.
people, and they love to hang out, so we can hang on
Okay.
if we get cut off. I see you have a lot to manage there, unless you're already cut off at this point. I can see there's lots to manage
Okay.
with
Let's move past.
with what you got going on. Okay, I have a feeling we might lose James here in a moment. The cars.
Well, he's got to go up past this. He can't keep driving on that because he's going to
Right. So you got to keep a close proximity to the car with the rigged up Canadian ingenuity, as James called it, Starlink on the roof of a sedan. This is how you make things happen in the world, and well, Canadians know best because you're for most people in Canada, maybe if you're not in the city, but you're 5 minutes from the end of civilization. The sticks they're vast and they go forever. You can drive for just a short little while and you are nowhere near anything or anyone, and that's kind of the way things go. So with Starlink is a real godsend. Thanks, Mr. Elon out there in the ether, for fixing this up for us and making things come. Clyde, tell him his merch store doesn't work. I don't think he has merch at the moment at all. Kind of a funny thing. I joke about the merch thing all the time. That's been a staple of the questions. People, hey, where's your merch? Yeah, I don't know if there's any at the moment. I remember him talking about that before at a point. But one thing James Topp made sure to keep clear, though, is if you hear anything about him, check his website. And he gives press briefings all the time. He keeps up to date on his website. He's got a great crew keeping the public informed on what's going on. So if you want to know anything that's happening with James Topp, just go to canadamarches.ca and you'll be kept up to speed. And there is a GPS tracker, so you can see at all times where he is. So like what happened a few weeks back, there was that rumor that sprung around the internet that he got arrested because Global wrote an article that was dating, and we were talking about this earlier, that had dated back to February when he was charged for wearing his uniform and speaking out, which is he was expecting to happen, and it happened, and that's something he's being charged with. Now, he may get a $500 fine. Oh, no. So, I mean, he's not getting picked up or anything like that. That's not happening. But when we get back on the line here with him, I want to see how his journey's been going. I'm kind of curious about some of the logistics of what's been going on with that in particular. Maybe CBC could follow James if they had good internet connection. Well, that's it. Like, the CBC is not covering this story, but they're not covering it just like they did not want to cover the Freedom Convoy. The Freedom Convoy just got so big that they couldn't ignore it anymore. And I have a feeling that this is what's going to happen with the story of James Topp marching across Canada. I mean, this is not something that people do on a regular basis. This is a very unique stand that he's taking, and it can't be ignored. I mean, there's not many people who have marched. I don't know, is there anyone that we know of that has marched across the nation? I know there's a lot of people that have ridden their bikes for charities or what have you, but this is right up there that will go down in Canadian history as an amazing feat from an individual, and now a team of people joining him. And yeah, fantastic message that's being put across here. Again, showing you guys how far this has been. And again, he's like in this area. He's approaching Sault Ste. Marie. I guess they're not going straight across the top. They're coming back down to the Soo Locks, I guess, is where that would be. So it comes down to Sault Ste. Marie and then goes over to Greater Sudbury. So not the big loop up top. That's not the way things are going there. I think it's fantastic though that James wanted to come on the show and spread his message here. I feel honored actually to have him come speak to me. I realized that I messed up and I said 4 quarters. For 3 quarters of the journey, he's gone so far. So he's got less than 1,000 kilometers to go on this trip. But yeah, definitely check out his website. There's a bunch of articles that are snippets of articles in the website here where you can see all those. And these were some of the ones: Canadian soldier charged with speaking out against COVID-19 vaccine mandates in uniform, and other articles that are less slanderous. Canadian Force veteran still marches despite rumors of arrest. And again, those were rumors. But yeah, so this is from 1,000 kilometers before, 2,000 kilometers left to go. He's less than 1,000 at the moment. I see a video signal coming in. I'm just going to copy that link and get that over for you guys so we can all see what's going on here. And I believe we're good. We're good. I can see you, James. I don't know if I'm hearing you.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we're back. We're back. You're back close to the car. I love the Starlink on the top of the sedan. That is just such a Canadian piece of ingenuity that you guys have.
Oh, I'm telling you right now, like, you know, hey, Elon, if you're watching this, like, check this out. Like, we got the patent on this.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love it. So where were we? I wanted to talk a little bit about the logistics of your travel. So when you set out to make this trip, what did you what did you have planned? How did you prepare for it? Were you expecting to completely do this on your own in the beginning, and then obviously you have a crew now.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. It was the initial thought. Was done by instinct, but like at one level I knew that this was something I could do because living out of a backpack, you know, was something I'd done before. I had initially thought that, okay, this is going to be a one-man show, and I'll march, and then I'll, you know, sleep on a sleeping bag on the side of the road or whatever. And you know, I knew it was going to take me months. And then once it started to snowball, that, you know, people started to extend their you know, their aid and support, it just became something much bigger than I had initially thought it would be. So, okay, hang on for a sec. Okay, hold up. So take the car right. Just keep it in front of us when you get a chance.
I suppose this all comes naturally to you, being a veteran. You know how to give orders, and you know how to keep people in
Oh,
line and get
100%.
things going correctly.
Yeah. I mean, this is the part of it that was like, okay, the difficult part of it, the most difficult part was going out, putting my uniform on, making the announcement, and then everything kind of unfolded after that fairly easily. Like honestly, we had
Oh, I think we have a hiccup here, and I'm sure he'll be back in a moment. Amazing, but yeah, I like
we'll
to
carry
see
on.
this. Oh, here
So
we go. Yeah, you're back. Oh, you were back, and we're another little hiccup here.
Jason thought they were going to join me. You still got me?
I don't have your video feed. Oh, there we are. You're back now. You're back. It's a little sketchy. It's in and out, in and out. Yeah, keep on. Oh, and we've lost it. We've lost it. So, yeah, this is the this is the routine as you're traveling through the northern part of the country. Interesting though, because he left in February. I mean, the weather going through the mountains must have been just incredible. Rain and snow and sleet and all that stuff. But now we're in northern Ontario. It's June, and weather is getting to be pretty nice, and it looks really nice where they're at the moment. But won't stop, can't stop the top. There you go. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm feeling here. But the weather's getting much better for the crew there, and I'm glad to see that, because I'm sure it's nice to have a little break from winter in the Rocky Mountains. I think that would have been something else entirely. But yeah, connectivity issues, not the greatest, not the greatest thing, but we're doing what we can here. We're doing what we can, and I'm glad. I feel honored that James wanted to come on this show and speak to you guys here for this audience. So we'll see how much longer we have him, because things are getting on here. And yeah, I think I've lost him completely at this moment. But hey, back to his site. So yeah, if you want to see any of the articles that were written about him, agenda items for the Ottawa meeting, June 22nd, 2022. Last update was the 19th of March. So we have these different articles. I'm not sure is this from. Yeah, okay. So preamble. Okay, we're back here. Gonna get things going here. Oh, we're in the car. I'll just get this going here. Copying the link. And this is the hard. And did that not carry through? Interesting. Trying to figure this out here. Oh, we lost him again. That's what happened. Oh, Starlink, it's the best technology that we have out there right now. Does Guinness Book people know he's doing this? I don't know. I wonder what the
Okay, you should have me.
Oh, I'm hearing audio now. Here we go.
So, Clyde, what's happening is we're going to come to a rest area, and we're going to stop there, and we're going to have a proper conversation with proper signal. The issue that's happening here is that I'll just show you the scenery. So it's beautiful scenery. That we've got like a lot of relief, a lot of terrain, a lot of beautiful trees. The problem is just the car going from one side of the road to the other. The dish was pointing into the trees the moment it moved over.
Oh, right.
Whatever clearance it had, it wasn't getting it anymore. So right now, the data is like 2.5 megabytes per second. But if a rock formation comes or some trees come, it's gonna go to zero. You
Oh,
know what I
no.
mean? Because it doesn't have. So that's what happened. They're about 200 meters away, and I think in about I see a cone right here in about another 300 meters.
Right.
They're gonna behind me. I'm here with Logan. In about
Hey,
300
Logan.
meters, they're they're gonna be in the rest area. So to do
Oh, nice. Nice. We can get more into it.
out, get some ideas out.
So how did you guys join the crew? How did
Exactly.
you get involved in all of this?
Wait, let me put you on speaker if I can, so Logan can hear what you're
Oh,
saying.
okay. Yeah,
too.
yeah. Yeah, try that.
Yeah.
Let me know when you have that. Let me know when
Well,
that's good.
okay,
Is that
it'll
good?
be a little bit hard in the system. It's a bit hard, but he said, "How did we meet? How did we?" You can let's talk a little bit with Logan too, because he's actually a really good speaker. Better than
Okay,
me.
yeah, sure, no problem. Hey, Logan, good to meet you. My name's Clyde, so I'm on the Clyde Do Something YouTube channel. Everybody's excited to see what you guys have been up to and what you guys have been doing. How did you get involved with James Topp and become part of the crew?
So I've, as a professional photographer, I've been in the freedom movement ever since it started of August 2020. I'm one of those guys that goes to rallies almost every weekend.
Nice.
I'll go to a lot of extra events. Like I was there during the takedown of Adamson Barbecue. I was there during the fencing of Grace Life Church. I was not there during the Ottawa convoy. I was there when it left Calgary, but I was in Milk River and Coots because I just did not have the logistics to drive across the country at the time on very short notice. And as a former soldier, with out of the Peterborough and Cobourg area of Ontario, I've been keeping a very close eye on soldiers and military who are speaking out in Canada, because when you think about the population of Canada and then how many soldiers there are, 60,000 currently serving, you know, we might have millions of vets all the way to the World War II vets, but it's still not too many people in a country that have gone through the military, and including, and it's even smaller in the combat trades. So when I see James Topp in full uniform speaking out, anybody in uniform knows what that means. It's basically like an all-in. And, you know, with his rank and his time in, you know, as a photographer and former infantry, right, I'm going to stand there with the camera and get pictures of this whole journey, because somebody's got to do it. If I left, there'd be no photographer. Like, that's just the way it is in the
Right.
freedom movement right now.
Right. Well, thank you for your service. Thank you for taking your time to include yourself in all of this and bring us a story, because that's the thing. The news media wants nothing to do with this story. If anything, they would like to see it go away. But it's all of us that are spending our time to get this story out to people, and without it, nobody would even know about it.
Yeah, that's correct. All right. Nice meeting you. Nice chat.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, we're going to get James back on here.
1 second, Clyde.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll pass you to James because I think we've got a good signal here, and just gonna cross over.
Okay, sounds good. James, welcome back. We got a good signal. Yeah, we were
how you
talking.
doing?
So we were talking about the
Yeah.
logistics of that, and then we got cut off because of the logistics of it. And it's just, it is what it is, right? You go behind a tree and you don't have the internet anymore. But yeah, talking about how you started off as by yourself, and you were planning to do this all on your own, and then all of a sudden you had a crew.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, once I realized that the day I started this is the day that the government announced emergency measures sorry, it was actually before that, but the day I started was the day that the government went and started, physically removing protesters.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I was also affected by fairly deeply was the way that veterans were treated, the ones at the War Memorial.
Yeah, that's right.
And so this march is in part for them, and because of that, because I was immensely proud of those veterans that went to Ottawa to take a stand there and to stand shoulder to shoulder with the truckers and the Canadian public in general.
Right.
And that was a large part of what inspired me to do this, seeing that happen. And I was just disgusted with what happened with that, and that's part of the reason why I chose the War Memorial and the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier to march towards. So in all, you're looking at approximately 4,300 kilometers. I did a quick math at home. If I could march 40 kilometers a day, over the course of 100 and 120 days, I would arrive. And that was why when we
Oh, a little bit of a pause there.
the members of Parliament.
Ah, there we go.
Because okay,
Yeah, I lost you for a minute, and you're back now.
Okay, so I don't know what you heard and what you didn't on the last part, but
yeah, you were just talking about the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and and that you planned to go there.
yeah, because it was to me at that particular point was reclaiming that monument for veterans. Because I was disgusted at the way they were treated on February the 20th. So so the logistics are that I did the quick math, and however there are variables that were associated with this kind of activity, right? Are you still with me?
Yep, I'm still with you.
Okay, so initially I planned to do it on my own, but then when there was more people involved, there was more considerations that needed to be made for safety, for sustainment of the operation, which involves making sure everybody's fed and watered, housed, and all that stuff came into we had to take into consideration before we stepped off.
Yeah.
And I initially thought, okay, I'll pay for this out of pocket, and I'll be all well. But then we realized was that okay? Well, there's this. I had invited folks to take part in the march, and I didn't want to back out on that, and so it became, it turned from one guy to 4 to 8 to now we got 12 on the ground, and I wouldn't have got here if it wasn't for them. So when we left in February, I think I remember you talking about the weather and that, and then what we had happen was.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the weather, like going through the Rockies and all the mountainous stuff, like middle of winter is a
well, no,
I
mean,
to plan a trip. Right?
There was a bit of forethought that went into that because, like, I grew up in the Lower Mainland.
Okay.
And it wasn't, you're moving at 5-6 kilometers an hour. It's not like okay, you're gonna have to bear with me. I gotta say hi to these fellows over here.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
Looks like this up by say.
I'm just gonna try restarting my audio engine here. See if that fixes.
Well, I don't know if they want to be on.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. So again, more people just excited to meet James on his journey and him obliging and greeting people as they go by, and wow, this is fantastic. This is just fantastic to see and witness in real time as it's happening. And what a beautiful day for it in northern Ontario. Looks like the skies are blue. It's gorgeous. Foliage is all green and good. Getting the mic passed off because These guys want to have a bit of a chat with James here.
I think they want an autograph. They want.
Oh, that's amazing. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. But I'll show you where we are, because it's literally in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah, I see. I see.
Highway.
Would you be able to do me a favor and maybe reset your audio, maybe disconnect and reconnect? And
1098. 1098. And these fellows stopped here to say hi to James and to get one of our Canada Marches cards signed.
That's amazing.
So, yeah. This is happening in the middle of nowhere in bigger cities and things like that. It's way different.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So they must have traveled out from one of the cities nearby or one of the towns nearby to meet him on the road
Ask
here.
you, because no, I think they were on. I heard the names, but I forgot that they said. Do you remember where they said it from?
What, these two?
Yeah.
The one guy said Milton.
One from Milton.
Oh, so one was from Milton, so not too far.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if they were traveling and they saw, or they actually came out. I think they were traveling and they saw him and they recognized him, and then they turned around. I think that's what happened.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
They're gonna finish here soon. They're gonna take some pictures and then we'll be able to continue our interview.
Yeah, for sure. Is there any way that you can reset the audio, because the audio's got a little clipping going on in it?
I'll just jump in and out. I'll just jump in.
Yeah,
and
that
out.
would be perfect.
I'll just jump over the call right now.
So jumping out of the call. See when he comes back in if we have to reset anything here. Oh, yeah, here we go. So just got to and we should be back. Should be good. Yeah, there we go. As soon as we get audio back from them. But that's amazing. Yeah, people stopping to say hi. Not getting an audio feed from you, James. Not hearing your audio. No, not hearing your audio. That's okay. Yeah. Audio should be coming through in a second. Nope, not yet.
No.
Oh yeah, gotcha. You're in now.
Okay, you got me now.
Yeah, got you now.
Okay, let me just let's just mosey over here. We're gonna have to sum this up because I got some kilometers to put in.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But
that's fair. You're on a mission. You gotta get your daily quota. And what is your daily quota that you're aiming for?
Between 45, like my minimum is 45, and that gets me in there with time to spare. Because going back to our initial discussion, there was this problem where I hadn't factored in enough rest days, so some of my calculations were off. Now, just to kind of fill everybody in who's watching, when I started this, I had got to, a lot of this was done on instinct. I'm going to do this protest. What I'm protesting is the requirement for federal government employees, and I'm hoping to alter this to extend to the corporate sector as well, the requirement for them to have a medical procedure or a test or be isolated or quarantined or have an exemption to be employed. I'm speaking out, and I'm speaking for all the folks who have been put in the same position I have been put in that they're on leave without pay. And I'm also speaking on behalf of the folks who were required because they were coerced into it by being told that they would have no paycheck or they would lose their employment if they didn't accept this medical procedure. So are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still with you. Yeah.
Okay. So that's the nature of the protest. And I'm also, I embarked on this 105 days ago. I got to a point where I realized that there's a significant number of people suffering because of these mandates. And then what I also realized is that we have a massive divide in this country that needs to be repaired. So that's something else that I had intended to speak to members of parliament about. Now, I was asked early on, what am I going to do when I get to Ottawa? So that's what I'm going to do. This march is a mechanism for us to get the attention of our members of parliament, because who am I going to go to? My employer? My employer is not paying me. They're not listening to what I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go to my representatives in the House of Commons, the people that are paid to represent us. And we've reached out to them through an email and mail campaign with the help of all the crew on the ground here and online, and the Canadian public who have written to their own members of parliament to say, go and meet with James Topp in Ottawa. So I'm going to have this meeting, and it's not just a meeting where I'm complaining about losing my job. I'm going there with the express purpose of speaking to them on 4 distinct points. Okay, so what we're calling it is the 3+1 R's, because as I said, the last R is something I came to discover on this journey. So with regards to the 3 R that we're going to talk about, we're talking about repealing mandates. I want to talk to them about reinstating workers, and I'm hoping that we can get the federal government to put pressure on corporate sectors to rehire their workers.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm also speaking to them about restitution. So let's get into a negotiation where we can get folks paid back for the wages that they've lost over the last 7 months, sorry. Then I want to talk about the final R, which is the repair part. Okay, so let's not go into who made what decision, when and where, and cast judgments about that decision. Let's fix this divide, because we have this system of segregation and discrimination that's been imposed on the Canadian society through the implementation of this system, requiring to prove your health status to everybody and anybody who wishes to know. And what I would like to see is a return to form of our Canadian values, which are, truth and justice and fairness, and the removal of discrimination, which we've always touted ourselves as being this kind of open society where we don't judge folks on where they're from, what their backgrounds are, and we should not be judging them on what their medical decisions are. Okay?
Right.
So I want to have that conversation, but it's not just a conversation where we all walk away and, shoulders are shrugged and everybody goes, well, I did what I can do and now I'm off to the cottage. That's not what it's about either. I want to go there and have solutions ready for them from us. And I speak on behalf of a number of people in the Canadian public that I've met since I started this journey. So we're talking in the thousands, right? Online and on the ground. And the amount of people who have come to me and said, please do not speak on my behalf. Do not do this. You have no right or authority to speak on my behalf is exactly 0. Okay?
Right.
So this is where I'm going with this. What I see happening is that I am not anti-government, quote unquote. I am not militant. I'm pursuing this legally, lawfully, and peacefully. And what I want to do is go to our Canadian government and work in a partnership with a spokesman from the Canadian public that have been most affected by these mandates, have been negatively affected.
Right.
So let's work together, come up with solutions. What are those solutions? Well, there's a number of things that I see happening here. We can at least lean towards the 3 R's, as I stated. Let's take positive action with our members of parliament to get that voice heard, to get that vote changed, to lift these restrictions and mandates so that folks can fly, travel, and work. That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
And what it's going to take is for those of us who are what we're calling in the freedom movement to become organized and to have a clear voice and to have a clear message. So this is what I propose to them and to the rest of the folks in this community. So there's a method, there's a purpose. That's why what we're doing is marching with purpose. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go there, have this conversation, and then say, we have something to work towards, lay out a framework or a blueprint that we can build something on. If that doesn't happen, then we proceed with marching. We proceed connecting all of the groups and people that I've met along the way now in order to get that voice, because what I see happening here is that we have a concentration of power at the levels that is not actually speaking for the Canadian public. We have a minority of people who voted for a minority of people who run the country now.
Right.
And it's not a fair system. So how do we rectify that? We put the power back in the hands of the Canadian people, because each of us, you and I, are Canadian citizens. We're voters. We need to educate ourselves on how the system works, what we can do as Canadian citizens, and through each of us, we can counterbalance the concentration by putting the power into Canadians across the nation. So that's part of the solutions that I see happening.
That's amazing. Yeah, so you're not coming to the table with grievances, but you're coming to the table with solutions.
100%.
That's amazing. Amazing story. You're such an inspiration, James, to everybody in the community. Everyone just is wowed by your presence every time you speak to people. You're so concise on exactly what it is that you're after. You're not wishy-washy and saying like we need change, but not coming to the table with anything else. I just want to say it's been such a pleasure chatting with you, James.
Yeah, and let's carry on the conversation when we got some clear sky and some better connectivity, because as you know, there's this media blackout around this thing. It's like I don't know how to put it. Like it's like I've never experienced anything like it before. I never thought I would be in this position, but then again, we live in the strangest of times. But I would like to get the word out, not because I'm trying to sell T-shirts. I'm not trying to get rich. I don't want fame. Okay, I want us to have a functioning society where folks can walk down the street and not be afraid of each other. Where kids can go to school without having to put a mask on or prove that they were, received some medical intervention that is sketchy at the best of times, from what I've heard. So.
Right.
From reliable sources, by the way. So this is where we're at. This is what I'd like to see happen. And this is not something I didn't join the army to watch the Canadian, this country impose a discriminatory system and then watch the Canadian government that I work for punch down on those people. That's not what I'm here for.
That's right. Yeah, so you're fighting for freedom in service and as a veteran. Amazing. Well,
so that's that.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day, James, and taking a pause from your journey. You got some kilometers to catch up on now, having stopped for this brief amount of time. But
well, we take breaks. We take breaks like this. I mean, this is part of the system. This is what this whole march is also a demonstration of a couple of different things. Okay, it's a demonstration of what a person can do when they put their minds to it. When there's determination and perseverance, and there's planning, and there's teamwork, right? This is what you can achieve. So this is something for anybody to take on board. Like I don't have any special superpowers here. I just got some training, and I got a bunch of people that helped me to get here. So, part of this is discipline, and everything I've learned in the Army got me here too, because I don't just march incessantly until I collapse. I march, and then I take a break, and then we keep going.
Marching with a purpose. Amazing. Well, again, thanks again so much, and let's have this chat again when we have a better connection and a clearer time to do it, and we'll keep this message going. We'll get your message out there, and I've been encouraging everyone to spread the message to everyone along their social media, because the big mainstream media doesn't want to spread the message. So we're getting the message out for you, James.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for what you're doing, because this is a big part of an overall strategy that I see. It's a partnership between independent podcasters and journalists like yourself, YouTubers, vloggers. All those are the folks with small and medium businesses in this country and communities that are going to work together to, like I said, to counterbalance an imbalance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you.
Cheers, and we'll catch up with you real soon, James.
Okay, sounds good. Have a good one.
Amazing, amazing. And here we are. Here we are. That was a great chat with James Topp from Canada Marches. He's been marching across the entire country, and he's on his way, marching with a purpose to Ottawa. I got goosebumps. I'm so inspired at the moment. I want to get out and do something. Holy cow! What an inspiration! What an inspiration! Great man. I'm welling up. I'm welling up, honestly, legitimately, and I really like that message of bringing people that have been divided back together again. So even the people that have been vitriolic and horrible to some of us, they need to be welcomed back into the fold, and we need to move on from these hard times that we've had for some time here in Canada and around the world. Holy cow. I'm welling up. Yeah. I think I'm going to leave it at that, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for tuning in today on this special live stream. Impromptu. It was supposed to happen last week. It couldn't from technical difficulties. You see that we still had some technical difficulties throughout the stream today, but we made it happen, and it did happen. Wow. Did it ever happen? And I'm so inspired at this moment. And make sure to share this out there with everybody. I'm not saying just to share my YouTube channel about this. Share this video. Share other videos. Share videos from Viva Fry that's spoken to James. Videos with Live from the Shed. Share out CanadaMarches.ca. Get the word out. Get it out there. Let everybody know what's happening and what's going on, because the media does not want you to know about this. Because if you know about it, you'll do something about it. So that's what I'm trying to do. This is Clyde trying to do something, and I want all of you to join in on that. And let's get the word out there. But as for the rest of the day, I'm gonna go spend the rest of the day with my beautiful wife and my 2 kids, because they want to hang out with daddy, and well, I'm gonna have to oblige to that. So as much fun as it is hanging with all of you, I'm gonna go do that. And hey, let's all go do something. And as always, keep on trucking.